Hey, Facebook family, Facebook faithful, happy Wednesday, happy hump day. um, are you guys keeping dry today? LA, we got some much needed rain and I am over it, mostly because I had to get out in it today and I didn't like that. So I'm back in my space here with you, dry and cute, thanks to Ursula. Had to do that monthly trek so that she could get me right. So thank you to Ursula, my hairdresser extraordinaire. I appreciate you, sister. I am going to do what I do, which is share this on my other Facebook pages. And listen, I'm doing something different, so I don't know if you noticed something wider angle, something different is going on with my camera. I'm trying this camera that I had before that seemed to be very pixelated, so I'll know when this is over if I want to use it again. But in the meantime, welcome. Share this on your timeline so that your friends can see what we're doing right now. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to share it with some folks. And lots going on, you guys. Another action-packed week. I don't even know where to begin. So let me just begin at the beginning. How about that? I've got some notes here. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. The Pied Piper is back in jail, y'all. Yeah. Evidently, old girl who put that $100,000 up didn't really think that out because, listen, they were already talking about arresting him on March the 6th if he didn't pay his back child support, which was, I've seen different numbers, 161,000, as much as 200,000. I don't know what it is. But they said if he didn't pay it, he was going to be arrested on March 6th. And so wouldn't it have made more sense to take that $100,000 that, you don't get back when you put up for bail towards your child support so that you could, well, I guess he was going to be in jail anyway. But anyway, he's back in jail because he didn't pay his child support. And so, he went to court today thinking if he came in with a little something, little few coins, he could throw at the judge that they would say it's all good, in his arrogance, I would imagine. And so he went in allegedly, according to the reports, with $50,000 to $60,000 prepared to give it to the judge. And they were like, yeah, that's not going to work. So off to the back you go, sir. And guess what? That ass will be sitting in jail until you come up with all of your back child support paid. So don't think they really thought that out. But anyway, it is what it is. So who saw the, hey, Myron, what's up? I see you want me to talk about the Michael Jackson situation. I didn't watch it on purpose. Michael Jackson is dead. And I am one who believes that he did all that stuff that he was accused of doing years ago. So I didn't really need to see that video, see that documentary, I mean. So I don't know. Now, I've seen some things mentioned on social media about it, and I know it was pretty graphic, and I guess for some non-believers, they believe now. But for me, Myron, I didn't watch it. So I can't really speak intelligently about that particular documentary. So that's that. But what I do want to talk about is, for those of you who don't know, I have a podcast, Sergeant Dorsey Speaks, and it dropped yesterday. I shared a link on my timeline for my Sergeant Dorsey Speaks podcast. So do go by, check it out. I was yammering on my podcast for almost an hour, and I really try not to do that because I know that folks, hey, Chewy, what's up, sis? I know a lot of people don't have, time, and I respect your time to just sit and listen to me go on and on, but there was so much for me to cover in my podcast about things that had happened last week, particularly things that were police related, and some of it was pretty important stuff in my mind, so I'm going to revisit it again here on Facebook for my Facebook family and for my YouTube subscribers, because a lot went on in terms of law enforcement on last week. So back to R. Kelly, he's back in jail. Who saw the first two segments of the Gail King interview on CBS this morning? I was up with a bowl of popcorn because I'm twisted that way, waiting to see that shit show. And he didn't disappoint. See, this is why attorneys tell their clients to not speak, because you wind up making things way worse for yourself. And I think that's just what Mr. Piper did this morning when he was pounding on his chest like a razorback, silverback gorilla, saying that he didn't do any of that stuff. But, you know, I listened to him speak, and I've heard him say this on more than one occasion. He said it this morning. He said, I beat the case. I beat the case. How are you going to keep charging me if I beat the case? He never says I was innocent. He said, I beat the case. And so for me, that's very telling. That's why you ought to just keep your mouth shut, because, you know, he beat the case, and we know why he beat that case. He beat the case because they probably, in my estimation, paid off that little girl's family, paid that little girl off, and she said she wasn't a victim. And now he's, you know, talking, you know, double jeopardy because he beat the case, and how they're going to try him a second time for something he already beat. But they're not trying him for the same thing. They're trying him this time. He's being charged with something completely different. And it sounds to me like this 14-year-old girl who was a victim back in the day may be testifying this time. I think she's one of the 4 victims that is speaking up and is mentioned in these charges. I don't know that to be true, but that's what I'm hearing. So he went on with Gayle King and proclaimed his innocence, and, you know, told all of us that we should use our common sense. And, you know, I made some little notes about some of the things that he was saying. And one of the things that he mentioned was, you know, how stupid would he be to, you know, do the things that he's been accused of doing, holding people against their will and blah, 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 based on the things that he was involved in and accused of in the past. How stupid would he be? Well, we know people are stupid. That's why folks get caught, because they do stupid stuff, because they think they're smarter than the professionals, than the police officers and the professionally trained interviewers, investigators. You know, you've seen a couple of CSI episodes and Next 48 or 48 Live, whatever that show is. You know what I'm talking about, where, you know, you see how people get caught, right? So he figured, I'm guessing, that he had a way out of this, and he could, you know, sell it because he's arrogant. And yeah, he didn't do himself any favors this morning. And then he also mentioned earlier today that he's considering counseling. And so I don't know why he would be considering counseling, having been abused now when he never considered it before. But for his attorneys probably suggested that maybe you ought to get in some kind of a rehab clinic situation and be able to at least say that you are trying to seek help for whatever it is they think you have, because you don't think you have it. He also mentioned this morning when he was speaking to Gayle that she asked him, you know, do you think, by your own admissions of having been abused as a child, do you think you were affected by that? And he said, absolutely not. And then she, you know, looked at him like you would if you were a dog and you just heard a siren go by. And she's like, absolutely not. How is that possible, that you could be a victim of such horrific crimes as a child and not be affected? It doesn't ring true. But anyway, that's what he said, and that was his story, and he stuck to it. So because he was afraid if he admitted something that somehow it would link him to or explain why he went on to victimize other people, because he says, well, you know, people say that if you've been a victim, then you victimize others, and I didn't do that. But then as soon as Gayle said, well, you know, professionals also say, you know, something that sounded favorable to him, and he kind of perked up and he was like, oh, really? That's what they say? Well, see, okay, then yeah, that's me. That part right there, that's me. So he didn't do himself any favors today. But it'll be interesting to see now how long he's going to wind up sitting in jail based on not being able to make bail on this child support situation. If you guys see me moving around, it's because I'm on the laptop, I'm on the cell phone. I'm as my kids would say, I'm doing too much, but I'm doing too much. So anyway, shared a little link with you if you want to check it out. For those of you who may have been working and didn't have an opportunity to see all of what went on this morning with the whole R. Kelly thing, there's a link that you can take a look at. And also, let's see. So I didn't watch Michael Jackson. Can't really speak on that. Sorry, Byron, but I didn't watch it on purpose. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, you know, that was in the news a couple of days ago, and it was a real big deal, and it's still a big deal, is up in Fresno, Stephon Clark. Probably have heard by now that the prosecutor spent 76 pages, I believe, explaining